a way of attracting money in a different way. Page 5, Italy gives police this 11 billion dams files, and apparently it's now coming out that Kenya may have paid 15 times above the fair rate, investigators say. This, of course, is a case that Kenyans have been following for a long time. But as we get more information by the day, it becomes rather disturbing to imagine that we could be paying 15 times above what is would be called a fair rate. Let me come to you, Honorable Odege, and possibly now that you mentioned there are many things that you're doing, how do you see us overcoming this very bad culture that we seem to have as a country, where even when there are good deeds being done, they are overpriced, and they're obviously overpriced for reasons that we all know?
When you look at our country currently, it's good we are now discovering where we are, and we are almost saying as a country that we need to start fresh. On this war of corruption, we cannot afford to leave it to the president only. All Kenyans must join it, because when you look at the budgetary, all the money which were allocated for the dams, and you analyze how that money has been moving, that money was not meant for dams. That money was budgeted for eating. So if we don't fight this culture of eating, and let us not only concentrate on some few individuals, we have to clean the top first, coming down, so that we can have people in responsible positions, people we can trust. But with the trust, like now when you look at those who are in the budgeting, those who are in the treasury, those who are in the cabinet, there's a wider scheme from the budgeting time up to which place do we allocate this money, which we can take easily. That's why dams were identified. And you look at the people who allocated the money, are the people who are going around and taking this money away from us. So we need to clean the top. If it would mean cleaning the cabinet, and even cleaning the politicians and cleaning everybody, so be it, so that we have people who will represent the interests of Kenyans. When you are given resources of the country, you protect it. But what we have currently, you are given a cow, you milk it and eat meat.
Honorable Nyoro, how we are going to overcome this culture that we seem to have adopted?
It's really unfortunate because as a country, there were days when we were very competitive on many fronts. But if you remember when there was a discussion with Uganda and Tanzania on passing the pipeline through Kenya, part of the contention that there was, and there was geopolitical consideration, top of the discussion was that Kenya is a high-cost economy. And if you pass that pipeline through Kenya and you compensate every Kenyan on the land that the pipeline passes, by the time it is out of Kenya into Tanzania, the cost will be so high that it may not be competitive to pass fuel through that. If you remember, we also have instances of per kilometer of load, how much does it cost?
Right.
And if you compare, we also had per kilometer of rail. We were comparing SGR with the SGR that had been done in Ethiopia, and people are talking, okay, it's different gauges and whatever. So the money to eat is normally put on the top. And do you know that the money to eat is eaten before the work is done? Because the 10% is paid upon visiting the site up front. So the money left can only do so much. So you get low quality, and the cost is too high because it's both the money that was eaten and the money that went to the road. So as we talk about an economy that was very competitive at a certain point, and now becoming less competitive, that Uganda can flood us with all their imports, Zambia can, with all the imports, it is because of these kind of things. So we have to go back. And we start again with the parliamentarians, the way we are saying. We have to go back and say, these people should actually not be put in jail. I don't know why everybody says that DCI should get them and then they should not be put in jail. They should be put in a container and thrown into the Indian Ocean.
Honorable Odege, very harsh punitive measures there. How do we deal with the demon and the issue of corruption? It has become a culture, and we're going to be discussing drought not too long from now. Yes. But until we learn to relate corruption to death and to how dire our need is, then we remain talking about something like it's something that doesn't really affect us, but it does.
I think for us to deal with the question of corruption, we must go to the root. And the root is basically the people. The people themselves. All the ones who are stealing, all of them, the ones who are in charge, the ones who are sharing the cake, the ones who are taking 10%, the ones who are people that are elected. So pain is the seed for change. Until the Mwananchi feels the pain and rejects corruption, I will still take the damn money, pay them during elections. I come back.
What more pain do we need other than people dying?
I don't know. I myself, I don't know.
People who do not have jobs. I mean, I think Kenyans are in pain.
Personally, I don't know but I don't think it's enough, because they'll elect the same people. They're electing the same people. They love the same people. You see them, the damn people, when they go to rallies and they go to places, we dance for them. We send our wives to welcome them. We congratulate them. In fact, we are wondering why Odege is not having a chopper. What's wrong with him? He's not being brilliant. So until the common man says no, and sits and demands from the president. We are talking about the ministers, the money was paid 15 times, all this and that. Paid by who? Paid by Treasury. Has anybody been sacked?
No.
Paid by all these things, nobody has been sacked, except the chaser.
Do you think, do you agree then that Kenyans possibly have not felt enough pain for them to demand change? And demanding change here means right from the ballot box.
I agree with you fully, but what we need to look into and what we need to inform our people, up to that time, when we'll stop hero-worshipping money, is when we are going to stop corruption in this country. You look at people who are seriously running to grab the money. They believe power is in money. And if you don't have money, you're a nobody. You go back to the electorates, it's the same. Because the electorates will also look for somebody who is greasing something, somebody who can part with something to give them. So you'll find our elective system in this country has given birth to this kind of culture we have currently. Because you find somebody with money will come in an elective post. Only 2 weeks is enough for him to change everybody. Not changing them with the policy, but changing them with money. You have free-flowing notes. You get to a position. You'll find those people are stealing currently, or those people are smuggling money in gunny bags. These people are not doing this one now to take care of their families and everything. What we need for this stomach is very little. But the problem we have, those people in the position there who are still aiming at higher posts, and they believe they can only get those posts by amassing a lot of wealth. Because they know the people outside there, the language they understand best is that language of money. And after, at the end of the day, you'll find after amassing this money, they again come back and run into their tribes.
Okay, although it becomes a vicious circle, because again, we have the elected, again, we need to look at it maybe from a political party level, because when they're being brought as the candidates, are they the right candidates, or are they candidates who have been doctored?
You know, Michael, I was talking to a gentleman from Rwanda who then went into work for ESC, a close friend of mine, and he was, after running ESC, he went and learned for a political post in Rwanda. And we were sitting down and working out the cost of an election for a member of parliament in Rwanda compared to Kenya. You know, to run for member of parliament in Kenya, you'll be lucky to go through nomination if you have not spent more than 40 million.
Wow.
And past nomination, you know, obviously it's more obvious depending on the party. If you are not in the right party, you have to spend some more.
Another 40.
So by the time you are done in the electoral process in Kenya, if you are a member of parliament and you have spent 50 million and now you are in, the first thing is where did that money come from? And if that money came from corruption, the first thing that you have to do is to do another bigger corruption to return that money. If that money came from selling your plots or whatever, the first thing that you do is to go in, return the money for the plots that you sold, and then prepare another one, because it will be 70 million and it's coming in after 2.5 years. If you're running for governor, then it's 200 million. So the point really is people go in there because they have spent so much money. If you have no money, forget about running these positions. Okay, some of us have been there by sheer good luck. So now, the biggest problem, I think we have to demonetize our electoral process. And you said it very well. It starts from the party politics. Because if you go in and you buy the royalty from the party politics, you give the party leader 50 million or 20 million and you are told, no problem, you get your certificate. Once you get your certificate, you are through. If you are here and I know you have been given a certificate and I'm independent and I'm running up and down, the jeshi there is asking for unatuachia nini, our electoral process is very, very expensive. That's not the reason for being corrupt or anything. I think what we need to do is to delink the electoral process